Welcome to the Cassandra Mack channel, a channel dedicated to providing biblical wisdom and upliftment to those who want to be part of this community. So you know this up front, comments that are divisive, disrespectful, or deliberately contrary to the teaching shared here will be deleted and the person will be blocked. Understand that I post as I'm led by the Lord. I do not post for anyone's approval or validation. Therefore, I will not be swayed by those who come in bad faith to troll or who come with a disruptive agenda. If you find that this channel doesn't align with you, that's perfectly okay. If you are offended by my rules, my directness, or my delivery, that's okay also. I encourage you to find the YouTube channel that's a better fit, since obviously we're not it. And if you choose to unsubscribe, no need to announce your departure. We are not the airlines. At any time, you can simply choose not to get on board. To everyone else, thank you for being here. Let's continue to grow together. God bless you. You cannot be friends with someone who wants your life. Today we're diving into 5 early warning signs that you might be dealing with a destiny thief. Today's video is being brought to you by my book, Rise Above the Haters. This is a practical, kingdom-based guide to help you keep on rising, thriving, and shining despite who's hating on you, who doesn't want to see you win, and who is wishing for your downfall. It is part journal and workbook that will help you to stay focused on your growth, your level up, and the things that God is doing for you, with you, and through you. The link is in the video description box. So today we're tackling a very important topic. And you've probably heard the saying, you cannot be friends with someone who wants your life. And although it can sound dramatic, at the core, it really speaks to the kind of toxic dynamic that ensues when you're dealing with someone in a friendship capacity. This could even be family, who doesn't just drain you, but they actually want your life. This is something that you have to be on the lookout for if you start to notice these signs. And we're not talking about a friend who's simply inspired by you, or a friend or family member who admires certain qualities about you, because we are all inspired by other people and there are things that we admire about others. And so we're not talking about the normal, natural inspiration or admiration, but we're talking about someone who sees your life not as a source of inspiration to build their own life based on their God-given gifts, talents, and their unique things that God put inside of them, but they see your life as the blueprint to be copied or a prize to take from you. And so this person is a destiny thief. So how do you begin to spot one early on? So maybe you've met a new friend, or you have connected with a family member who is a distant relative that you don't know that well, but because you are family, you are nurturing a relationship. So how do you begin to see these signs? And I want to be clear that this is never about paranoia. It is always about discernment. Everybody's not a hater. If you're not a hater, then it stands to reason that there are other people in the world who are not a hater. And if you want to see other people shine and grow, then it stands to reason that there are other people in the world who want to see folks shine and grow. So we're not talking about those healthy individuals who are emotionally regulated, who are focusing on what they're doing for God. Nobody's perfect. We all have flaws, but you're not out here trying to hurt and harm nobody. So we're not talking about that demographic. We're talking about the person who wants your life and will stop at nothing to get it, including putting you in harm's way. And then I want to share some scriptures that will help cement what we're talking about. So warning sign number 1 is the chronic copycat. So a lot of people say that imitation is the highest form of flattery. Yes, it is. But it is also an early warning sign of envy. And the thing about envy, in accordance with James 3:16, this is the scripture. James 3:16 tells us that where there is envy and selfish ambition or self-seeking, there's confusion and every evil work. And so that's the fruit of envy. So when somebody is envious of you and it is beginning to manifest by way of copying every facet of your life, what you're going to begin to see are evil works. And so this could be taking credit for your ideas at your job, could be a coworker, and passing them off as your own. This could be trying to sabotage what it is you're doing. And so maybe you have a meeting at work and the meeting starts at, the meeting was rescheduled for 9 a.m. and your coworker tells you that the meeting is 10 a.m. purposefully so that you will miss the meeting and look irresponsible in front of the supervisor. And it was a setup to begin to weaken your reputation at work. And so these are just a few examples. There are too many to name. And so when you are dealing with a person who is a chronic copycat and they are operating from envy, you're going to see the fruit of confusion and evil work. So this is the friend who asks, hey, where did you get those shoes? And not only are they wearing the exact same shoes, but they are doing everything you do. This is the person, upon seeing your shoes, they go out and buy the exact same pair. They apply for the same job you have. They want to work at your company. Maybe they start sending DMs to the person that you are in a relationship with. So they don't just want someone who's like your significant other. They want your significant other. They don't just admire your style, your choices, your life. They want to replicate your life to the point of taking over your life. And so why is this a sign? Because we talk about these signs, but we don't always dive into the why. This reveals a profound lack of self-identity and deep-seated emptiness. And a secure person who's inspired by somebody else will begin to channel that inspiration into their own unique calling and their unique path. And they will be the version of themselves, not a copycat version of you. But the chronic copycat doesn't believe they have a worthy path of their own, so they try to hijack your destiny. The underlying belief, whether they admit it or not, is your life is better than mine, so I will take over yours and replicate yours, rather than allowing your success in whatever capacity. It doesn't have to be career. It can be just your ability to manage your life. It could be the loving relationships that you have with your family. You can pick the area of your life. And so rather than them saying your success shows me what's possible for me, they say, I want your success and I don't want you to have your success. That's a very different mindset than somebody looking at what you do and say, I'm inspired and I'm going to find my gifts, my talents, and forge my own path as I move forward in my life. No. That's not what the chronic copycat does. They want to take over your life. Similar to the movie that I referenced time and time again, which is Single White Female. If you've never seen that movie with Bridget Fonda and Jennifer Jason Leigh, I think it's Jennifer Jason Leigh, or it's Ali Sheedy. That's the other actress. But Bridget Fonda is the main character in the movie. And you begin to see that this roommate starts out admiring her, then goes to imitating her, then escalates to actually trying to destroy everything that belongs to Bridget Fonda. So it's a good movie to really give you a bird's eye view of what the copycat syndrome that is originating from envy, what it looks like when it's unfolding, so that you can see it in action and you can begin to see if you see any of these toxic dynamics in your own friendships that can clue you in that you need to begin stepping back from that person because it is not healthy. And so this is a sign. And we all have issues we struggle with. No one is perfect. But here's the thing. You get to choose if you don't want someone who has a lot of inner turmoil in your life. That's a choice. It doesn't matter how anybody feels about it. It doesn't matter if they're offended. It doesn't matter if they don't like it. It doesn't matter if they're triggered in the comments and say, well, nobody's perfect. None of that matters. You get to choose who you want to give access to. That is your choice. It's not up to somebody else. So you want to be very clear about that. Here's the second warning sign. The joy diminisher. So you're sharing exciting news. It could be a promotion, an engagement, a personal breakthrough. Maybe you had a personal breakthrough in therapy and you are happy that you're beginning to not just unpack some of the things that you struggled with mentally and emotionally, but you're really beginning to heal your life. Maybe you're learning coping skills, new coping skills, better boundaries, whatever it is. And rather than that person rejoicing when you rejoice, because the Bible says rejoice with those who rejoice, mourn with those who mourn. Rather than that person rejoicing when you rejoice, they are actually dismissive. They are dismissive. Romans 12:15 tells us to rejoice with those who rejoice, right? Mourn with those who mourn, rejoice with those who rejoice. To share in the success of others, but to also be there when there are the down times. And so when a person is dismissive or they immediately one up you, so sometimes they might be dismissive, oh, that's not really that big of a deal. Regardless of the word choice, that's the essence of the message, regardless of the words they use. Or they immediately pivot the conversation to themselves. Oh, well, I got a promotion 5 years ago. And, when I got my promotion, they just can't be in the moment with you. And when they had their promotion 5 years ago, you were celebrating with them. Maybe you treated them to their favorite dessert. Maybe you took them out to eat, or maybe you didn't have the funds to do that, but you were just cheering them on. You played a special song. However you celebrated, you were very clear that you were in their corner and you let them have their moment. But now that it is your moment, they can't do the same for you. Or they pivot the conversation just back to themselves, even if it's not a one-up, to quickly get the conversation off of your moment of rejoicing. So you got to be mindful of that, because a person who cannot celebrate with you is going to bring your mood down over time. And so why is it important to pay attention to a joy diminisher? Because what this reveals, right? We know people by their fruit, right? In accordance with the scriptures. We know them by their fruit. And so when people show you who they are, this is what Maya Angelou says. So I'll give you the Bible and I'll give you what Maya Angelou says, because that's a pretty popular quote. When people show you who they are, believe them. Actually, when people show you who they are the first time, believe them. The Bible puts it this way. We know them by their fruit. That's Matthew 7:16. So what this reveals is a spirit of competition rather than collaboration and camaraderie. So a friendship, you should see collaboration and camaraderie. But when you see competition, that's not going to be a friendship that is rooted in care, concern, compassion, consideration. And so your joy feels like a loss for them. It could be that you're excited that you lost 5 pounds. You have been on this path, working out, eating differently. You lost 5 pounds and you are excited because it took you a minute to figure out a fitness routine where you really saw some results. And then, oh boy, 5 pounds, big deal. But that 5 pounds means the world to you because it shows that you are on track for getting to your goal, right? Everything happens one step at a time. And so when you have a person who your joy feels like a loss for them, it highlights a scarcity mindset. And this is the person who believes there's not enough success or happiness in the world to go around. So if you have some, there's less for them. And a true friend operates from an abundance mindset. Your light makes their light brighter. But a destiny thief believes your light is dimming theirs. And so you want to begin to really choose who you want in your life. Now, it's your life. You can choose to have friends that compete with you, diminish your joy. That choice is available. You absolutely can have those type of friends. It's your life, right? Do you? But if you begin to see these signs and you want to make a change, because that's who this video is for, and you want to make a change, then you want to pay attention to that. Because again, a lot of times, a lot of the drama that we have in our lives often comes from not discerning people who are in our lives quickly enough And when we discern what's not going to work for us, not acting on that information, regardless of how the other person takes it, feels about it, or doesn't like it. Usually people with zero to very little drama have very strong boundaries, and they tend to be very clear. And so this is really to help you if you feel you're dealing with a lot of drama from a friend. Only you know what you're dealing with and what you want to do with your life. Third is the undermining advice giver. So this is the third warning sign. Now this is tricky because it's subtle. And so this is the person who constantly gives you advice that sounds supportive on the surface, but it's actually designed to keep you playing your life small. When you talk about your big dreams, they will say, well, you were never really good in math. Remember, we went to high school together when you really struggled with math during high school. So how are you going to be able to keep the books for your business when you really struggled with math? Rather than encouraging you that whatever you struggle with, you can learn. You can learn, you can find somebody that has the skill that you don't have. You can hire that person. I mean, there are options. But this individual will make you feel like there are no options for you, but they'll frame it as a concern. But it's really a way to get you to lower your desired goals, your desired dreams, to get you to not move forward, to operate in fear rather than faith. And we're really looking at chronic behaviors because nobody's perfect. But if you see a pattern, that's what we're talking about in this video. So you might have someone, you catch them on a bad day. Anybody can be susceptible to any behavior. But we're talking about if this is a pattern in your friendship, you want to begin to just take note of that. And so a lot of times what this reveals is their own fear of failure and their discomfort with your growth and leaving them behind. If you soar too high, sometimes it highlights their own decisions. And here's the thing. When you are not competing with the people around you and the only competition for you is the person in the mirror, that doesn't mean other people aren't competing with you. And so you may be the person where your friend could say, hey, I'm going to start this big business. I'm going to write this book. I'm going to start this podcast about this particular subject. And you are cheering them on. You were like, girl, I found 3 different places where you can set up your podcast. You trying to help because you're excited for them. But everybody doesn't think like you. And when you are around someone who is like-minded, who is not like-minded, it can pull you in a direction that has no fruit. And it's no accident that the Bible says to us in Amos 3:3, can 2 walk together except they be agreed? We're going to dive into that more towards the end. And so by keeping you playing your life small, they ensure that you don't leave them behind. And the thing is, when you are focusing on your goals and the things that you want to do, if you are a person who is focused on God, your goals, unlocking your greatness, bringing God glory, you're not even of the mindset that you're leaving people behind. You're of the mindset, I want you to come with me. I want you to come with me. You with a friend that's like, hey, I want to share this resource with you. I want to tell you how you could do this for your dream, even if their dream is totally different from yours. And so oftentimes, when you're dealing with someone that has that mindset, they will make you believe or try to make you believe that they're giving you sound advice. And if you're not mindful, you may not peep this. 4th warning sign is the person who bulldozers your boundaries. You set a clear boundary. I can't talk after 8 because that's my family time. So maybe you have, a spouse and kids, and that's your family time. You can insert a different number, 7, 6, whatever the time is. Or I'm not available to work on your project for free. So maybe you have a business and you are sick and tired of family and friends thinking that you were constantly supposed to work for free because you have a mortgage or rent to pay, an electric bill to pay, a phone bill to pay, groceries you got to get like everybody else. But people somehow magically think that money falls out the sky for you because you work for yourself. When oftentimes when you are self-employed, it's even more of a hustle because everything is riding on you, but they don't see it like that. And so you will find that when you set a boundary and you're dealing with a person who is a destiny thief, they will guilt trip you, try to manipulate you, or be outright angry. They'll be entitled. They act as if your boundaries are a personal affront on them. And this is what this reveals, that they don't see you as a autonomous individual with your own goals, dreams, priorities, desires of the heart, needs, but they see you more as a resource. And you got to be careful for people who see you purely as a resource, right? And yes, people can be resources to us and we can be resources to them. That's mutual bartering, mutual sharing. That is reciprocity, not transactional, but reciprocity. But if you are the person that everybody's always relying on you, and I have a video that talks about a you to go to person for a bunch of people you can never go to. I'll try to link that video, but it's if you the go-to person for people you can never go to. That's a problem. And so this reveals that they feel entitled to access all of your energy, even if you're drained, all of your time, even if you're on a deadline for work or you have other priorities like your family. And they simply want to siphon off of these things. And it shows a fundamental lack of respect for your autonomy, which is the bedrock of any relationship. You are a free will human being. God gave us free will. And so if a person can't even respect your ability to have free will, that's going to be problematic over time. But a lot of times when we're dealing with a person who is a boundary bulldozer and they give you pushback on your boundary, if you're not strong and clear in your boundaries, you're going to have a hard time. And the way that they'll begin to steal your destiny, even if they're not copying you, right, is what happens is you'll have a goal with a time frame to get to that goal. You'll have a dream and you'll say in 6 months, I'm going to do this. In 2 years, I'm going to do this. By 30 days, I'm going to do this. And you can assert the goal of the dream. But when a person is bulldozing your boundaries, the time that you set aside to work on that goal or that dream, you're not working on that goal or the dream because you're dealing with that person's nonstop drama. You're dealing with their immediate needs rather than your priorities. And it doesn't mean you don't make a sacrifice once in a while for someone you care about. But if you're the only one doing the sacrificing and they're not only never sacrificing but never respecting your boundaries, that is an imbalanced friendship. Warning sign number 5, and this is a big one. They triangulate. So this person loves to create triangles of communication and competition. They'll say things like, I was just talking to Sarah and she thinks you're making a huge mistake with that new business. Now, first and foremost, why were you talking to your friend, who's not my friend, about my new business? Why you got your friend, who's not my friend, in my business? Why you running your mouth to somebody who is not my friend? I ain't got no problem with her, but we not friends. I didn't share that information with her. I shared it with you. So why you conversing about what I got going on with her? You understand what I'm saying? And so you'll start to see that dynamic. But a lot of times if we have been raised to be people pleasers, right? And we really struggle with that. And that's okay. We all have struggles, myself included. Everybody has different struggles, a battle that they're facing. But particularly with people pleasing, and it comes from childhood, it can be very difficult to see that characteristic in yourself and begin to deliver yourself from that in God through Christ. But you are able to do that. You have the power to do that as a believer. You have all authority through Christ Jesus, right? Who the Son sets free is free indeed, right? So they may say something like that. Or they may say, Mark's last girlfriend was tall and thin and really beautiful. I'm so surprised that the two of you are dating because you don't seem to be his type. And you were like, whoa, are you my friend? Are you my friend? And let's say Mark is treating you well and he's into you. You can substitute a new name. And then they're going to pull up the ex-girlfriend. Yeah, let me show you her pictures. Yeah, see? Yeah, she used to do a modeling and I just can't see it. I can't see how the two of you are together. You know, and I was just talking to Sarah about your relationship with Mark, and she knows his ex-girlfriend, like he was really into her. You like, okay, the first you done told Sarah about the new business I'm starting. Now you're telling Sarah about my relationship. Now at this point it's my fault because I should have cut you off at the first sign of treachery. I'm not gonna fight and argue with you, but Miss Mac don't play. Miss Mac don't play about loyalty and boundaries. Don't matter how nobody else feel about it. You can never speak to me again. I don't care. And so as you begin to get clear about that and you start to see this, you got to be mindful because they're constantly using a third person to try to make you feel insecure about your decision, about your life, and to try to provoke envy and jealousy, especially in the second scenario with Mark. So this reveals a manipulative and divisive nature. This is a person who is trying to sow discord. This is a person who thrives on drama. They want to keep you off balance and focus on competing for their approval. They want to keep you focused on defending your position. Well, Mark really likes me. No, he chose me. And, you know, maybe I might not look like his ex-girlfriend, but Mark really likes me and he says I'm beautiful too. Psh, listen, I wish I would. I wish I would defend myself. I wish I would. You ain't getting all of that. Well, you know, since you and Sarah feel that way, I think you need to be Sarah's best friend. Toodles. We don't need to argue about that. I don't need to ask you why. We already know why you're doing it. We don't need no back and forth. You just need to exit stage left. That's it. Exit my life. So the person thrives off of keeping you off balance and focusing on competing for their approval or defending your position. See, a person who wants to derail your destiny, even if they're not stealing it from themselves, they just don't want you to have it. So sometimes you have people that don't want what you have, but they don't want you to have it. Sometimes they want what you have. But then there's another level of a destiny thief who doesn't want what you have, but they don't want you to have it. It's still a destiny thief because they're trying to derail what you are destined to be building, creating, cultivating in your life. So don't think for a second. This is why you can have someone who has more than you financially, who has more status, more education, and they're not wanting your education because they have more. They're not wanting your finances because they have more. But what they want is they don't want you to have it. They don't want you to have it because they want to feel like they're better than you. So they don't want you to have it. So you got to be careful because a lot of people will overlook that person. It's like the supervisor who is envious of a staff person who works for them because the staff person is actually more knowledgeable than the supervisor. And that staff person may feel, well, my supervisor could never be envious of me because they're the supervisor. They're actually making more money than me. They have their own office while I'm out on the floor on a cubicle. So why would my director be envious of me? Baby, that don't mean nothing. If a person is not secure with who they are and they have an envious spirit, a person can envy anything. A person can envy the way you cook, your garden, the way people love you. I've seen people be envious of the way people pray. So understand that they want to be the center of your universe, so to speak. So you got to be careful of a person like that who will triangulate and may try to play off one friend against the other. So maybe you're part of a friendship group and there is an individual who's kind of like the self-proclaimed Queen Bee, or the self-proclaimed, if this is a guy's group, King Kahuna. And there's often a lot of drama that person's in the middle of with the other friends because they don't want the other friends getting close. Because you will probably find that whatever they're saying to you about the other person, they're probably saying things behind your back also. So you got to be mindful of these 5 things. So if you recognize these signs in a relationship, it's probably time to be prayerful and create some distance. I'm always going to tell you to pray because it's your life. These are general videos. You are under no obligation to take anything I say to heart. So you want to be prayerful. You want to also protect your vision. You got to guard your energy. Remember, your destiny is yours. It is what God gave you to build. So you want to surround yourself with friends who have their own roadmap and who are cheering you on as you cheer them on, who can rejoice when you rejoice. And I want to give you two scriptures that really drive the point home. And one is 1 Corinthians 15:33. And it says, do not be deceived, bad company corrupts good character. Now, a lot of people are under the impression that this scripture only means that when you are around bad company, that you're going to pick up that person's bad habits, that that's how they corrupt your character. And that's actually, of course, a component of it. But there's a deeper layer. Bad company also corrupts good character in that their envy, that's bad company, someone that envies you. Their manipulation, somebody manipulating and deceiving you is bad company. Their selfish ambition of wanting your life or simply not wanting you to have the things God has blessed you with, that's the very essence of bad company as well. And how it corrupts good character is it slowly erodes your confidence. Your confidence is part of your God-given character. That's why the Bible tells us, do not throw away your confidence, for it has a rich reward. So they're trying to get you to throw away your confidence, which is part of your character, part of the characteristics of who you are in God. They want to get you to throw away your joy. They want to steal your joy. Joy is part of your character. The joy of the Lord is our strength. That's part of who you are, having joy of the Lord. But they want to steal your joy by being dismissive, by triangulating you. They want to defecate on your peace. And so you can't even have peace of mind to have the clarity of vision to move forward in the goals and dreams. And so that begins to stagnate you. So these are all things that corrupt good character. It's not just picking up bad character traits. Like if they do drugs and you around them, you're going to do drugs. You have a mind of your own. That might not be the case. Although you don't want to be hanging around people doing drugs. But the point I'm making is it's more layered than that. It's not just picking up a bad habit, because there are people that are strong-willed enough to not pick up bad habits. But it is also that they erode your character, the things that God has put inside of you for your purpose and destiny. You need your confidence to act on your goals and dreams. You need the joy of the Lord. That's going to give you the strength. You need your peace. That's going to give you clarity of mind to strategize and tactically think about how you're going to put your goals into action. So stay with that scripture as you begin to reflect on these 5 characteristics. Is this bad company for you? Only you know, because you know your people. I don't. The second scripture I've already given you, but I just want to reiterate. James 3:16, where there's envy and self-seeking, there's confusion and every evil work. And so envy and selfish ambition is the core motivation of a destiny thief. And it doesn't lead to life and order. It leads to chaos and destruction, right? It says, where there's envy and selfish ambition, there's confusion and every evil work. So that's not life and order, that's chaos and destruction. So let these scriptures guide you prayerfully as you pray to God for yourself, and know that you are not being judgmental. So it doesn't matter if people are triggered. It doesn't matter if people come in the comments and they're triggered, because you are exercising discernment. That's not being judgmental. That is actually following the scriptures to have healthy relationships that bear fruit. You're not being judgmental. You're being discernment. You're being discerning. And you're choosing order over disorder. You're choosing to have healthy relationships over chaos and confusion and drama. That is your right. You are allowed to choose that for yourself. And so if this resonated with you, please share it with a friend who might need to hear it. Maybe you are a parent and you're seeing the characteristic in your child where they have a friend who's a destiny thief. They have a friend who's constantly trying to involve them in drama. So you may have a middle school child, a child who's in high school. Maybe you're a grandparent and you're noticing this and you want to put your child or grandchild up on game to begin to help them see that this is not a good friend and they're going to get you roped up and hemmed up into a whole lot of drama. Share this with them. A lot of us wish we had information like this when we were teens or during the college years. So definitely share this with people who can use this information. So with that being said, I want to let you know what we have going on outside of the general public videos, because that's only a small fraction of what we have to offer you here. And so every Sunday, we have a church by phone Sunday service. You can join us Sundays at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For the full details, visit our ministry website, CassandraMacMinistries.com. The link is in the description box. It's also pinned as a comment where you can find out more to join us for church by phone on Sundays at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. A lot of you ask, how can you get on the wellness call that happens the first and third Wednesday of every month? To get on the wellness call, you need to be a member of the Wellness Club, which is one of the features of channel membership here on YouTube, where we focus on mental well-being, spiritual self-care, emotional mastery through a biblical. It is a therapeutic group, and it is way cheaper than therapy. For less than 35 cents a day, you can get access to the Wellness Club. And not only do you get access to the call, but we also have live streams and other things going on in the Wellness Club. We also have other tiers of membership as well. So shout out to the channel builders. Shout out to the Blessed Life Club. So you can check out all of those different offerings to see, what's a fit for your life if you're interested. So there's a link that'll take you to my channel membership. But again, if you want the Wellness Club, you're going to see that there's the channel supporters tier, the Blessed Life Club, and the Wellness Club. The phone call that happens the first and third Wednesday of the month is available only through the Wellness Club, so that you know what you're getting, depending on what your needs are. So I want to make sure you know about that, so you know what we have available outside of the public general videos. Also, we have some workshops coming up during the month of November and December. The links are in the video description box. If you want to find out more, it'll take you to Eventbrite, where you can read the details of what will be offered in those Zoom workshops. So wherever you are in the world, you're able to attend the workshop because it's by Zoom. They are ticketed events, and all of the details are on Eventbrite. The links are in the video description box and pinned in the comments, so that you have that information. So with that being said, have an amazing day. Take care of yourselves. Let's do our best to be kind, but let's also take our discernment with us when we're out and about. God bless you. God has plans to prosper you, give you hope and a future too. So let me remind you of what you have the power to do. You've been on a journey, trying to find your way. Like the sun, you're rising, 'cause today's your day. To unlock every gift inside, let your potential flow. Don't let anybody kill your vibe. Time to bust up and show. Gotta keep on reaching, keep believing. Act like you know you can win. Live your dreams, reach your goals. Be happy, you can make it. Get motivated with Cassandra. We've got wellness, church by phone. You don't even have to leave your home to be inspired, to rise a little higher with Cassandra. They said you'd never make it, but you're still here. Kept on pushing through all your doubts and fears. Never let a
make you sweat. Remember who you are. When they go low, let them reap what they sow while you go far. Gotta keep on reaching, keep believing. Baby, shine like a star. You can win, live your dreams, reach your goals, be happy. You can make it. Get motivated with Cassandra Man. If you got haters, they gon' hate. Keep your head up and just be great. It's your season, your winning season with Cassandra Man. Rise up, time to get on your grind. Go after your dreams, no time to fall behind. Push till the end and never give in. It's your winning season, get ready to win. Keep moving forward and never look back. It's time to get motivated with Cassandra Mack. You can win, live your dreams, reach your goals, be happy. You can make it. Get motivated with Cassandra Mack. We've got wellness, church by phone. You don't even have to leave your home to be inspired. To rise a little higher with Cassandra Mack.